Hang on, hang on. I'm going to stop. The wind's just picked up a big bit there. Just stand by. It's a bit squally, isn't it? So the wind goes from being hardly any to being quite strong.
I've just put together a mock-up for you to better explain what's going on here. The biggest problem we've got is that the mast sticks out fore and aft. This is approximately to scale. We've just refueled at the fuel pontoon and we're about to leave this marina. And we don't want to bash the mast off the concrete wall there or any of the other vessels. And with the wind direction as it is, that's a little bit tricky.
Ready? Coming back. Okay. When you're ready, step on. Get on. Get on. Okay, well done. Yeah. Yeah, I'll spin us around here. It's all right, Rob. It's really strange to be in amongst high-rise buildings on a boat. Just can't get my head around it. It's a shame because Rossella and Emma, they're not seeing any of this because Emma's doing her homework at the moment with her mum. We don't get that many chances to do it because we're always busy, so whenever we get a section like this where it's possible to do that, then we do it. There's quite a large number of homeless people here, which is really very, very sad. But yeah, they're doing the homework now, so they're not seeing any of this. When we come to the lock, Rossella will have to come out and then she'll see you know, where we are, and it'll probably be a bit of a shock to them because they've not seen us arriving in here yet. We've come from the canals outside and they've not seen this big city sort of view. Okay, a bit of confusion here at the lock. We tried on the VHF, they didn't answer. Maybe that's because I'm speaking English, I don't know, but this big barge is going to go out and then we can leave, or we can go in the lock. Well, I don't know if it was just me, but I found that last lock a little bit stressful. Anyone else? Yeah. Basically, what happened was we weren't ready. They started to let the water into the lock and we weren't tied up at all. As soon as we got in there, they started to let the water in. So we weren't tied up, we didn't have a line on fore or aft. We were just kind of hanging on, and the boat started going all over the shop. The mast wanted to bang into the wall, and because we were trying to deal with that and push the boat off, we didn't have a chance to get the lines on very well, so we ended up rushing that, and in the end we kind of got them on. And then just when we thought it was all over, as the last thing, the line that I had tied around the steps, so I couldn't reach a bollard, As I released it and I let it go and I started to pull it back into the boat, it had an overhand knot in it right at the end, which I didn't put in there intentionally, it just got in there by accident. So then we got attached to the Scala and I was trying to drive out the lock and I couldn't go because the line was holding us. So it was a comedy of errors, we looked like a bunch of muppets. But that's okay, we're all learning, aren't we? Okay, the last that we went through was much better than the previous one. We got lines on straight away before they started to let the water into the lock, and it was actually a bit of a bigger lock, so there was more room between us and the water coming in, but it was like a totally different ball game, wasn't it, Ro?
Yeah, I'm still stressed from
Yeah, we've still got the stress of the first lock that's running through our veins,
yeah.
But it was much better. And Emma's been a great help, haven't you, darling?
Yeah.
Emma was even helping us. Pulling a line, she was pulling on a line here in the cockpit to help us. Wow. And also I worked out a new way of the lines on the bollard at the stern. It's kind of that shape with a bollard sticking up, and previously I've been putting the line around the top of them. But obviously as you go up in the lock that then tends to slip off, which can be handy, but this time I put it around the middle bit so that I could stay on the same bollard the whole way up and then let it go, took the engine out of gear and then pulled it up at the end. So we're learning all the time. That one was much easier than the previous one. And we'll see how things go. Emma's not a fan of the muddy lines, are you, Emma?
Yeah. Me neither.
So is at the helm.
You be careful.
Emma, darling, please be slow when you're going up there. I've asked Emma to keep an eye on the lines at the bow to make sure none of them end up in the water where there could be a danger to the prop. She's been very helpful, thank you, Emma. It's forecast to get sunnier and warmer, isn't it, darling? So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Careful, Angel. Careful, please. So the locks are taking much longer now. When we come in, they're leaving it much longer before closing the lock gates and starting to let the water in. So maybe they've passed the message on up the line that we're not very good at this and they're making it as easy as they can for us, which is really helpful. Obviously it slows us down a wee bit, but yeah, the lower stress is much appreciated. There's a very strong smell of chocolate in the air, isn't there, Emma? Careful there, darling. Doesn't it smell of chocolate out here? In fact, it's made me very hungry. We're just coming up to the last lock of today, and once we go through that, we've got about 3 more bridges, and then we're going to be tying up alongside the canal in a kind of free spot. We've seen it's quite, well, very close really to Del Hayes, a big supermarket. We did wish to go there today, but that's not going to happen because it's 10 to 9 at night. So that will be something to do tomorrow, but at least we'll be in the right place, close to it in the morning before we head off to the big boat lift. So fingers crossed for this last lock. At least we know what we're doing now, darling. Oh, yeah, we know what we're supposed to do anyway. Whether it works or not is different, but brilliant. We've just done the last lock, everybody. Well done. Thank you very much for all your help. You've been brilliant. And they called us up on the radio and asked what our intentions were, whether we were going through the next lock or whether we were going to stay somewhere around here. So evidently we're not the only people to stay here. And yeah, we're just a couple of bridges away from our destination, and we'll get tied up. Then we can think about food, and it'll be bedtime for Emma because it's 9:05 now. By the time we finish eating, it's going to be quite late for her.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, Mamma mia.
Oh my goodness me. Flipping heck, what have we got here? Oh, Emma, I don't know how practical that is out here.
Yeah, it's quite dangerous actually. You need to sit there.
Give us a wave then with your hat. Here we are then, tied up for the night. Rossella's preparing some food, and I've just been sorting out the lines. They're not really ideal, but the bollards are about 5 miles away from each other, so you just got to kind of make do with what you can. And obviously here I can't use the ground stakes. Anyway, the boat should be fine there. The shop that we're going to tomorrow is across the river, so we did want some more on the other bank, but that wasn't really doable, so we thought we were on this side. We'll just have to cross the bridge with the shopping, but it's not far, so that's fine. So we can all relax now, start to unwind, and yeah, like I say, get some food and get this little gorgeous monkey to bed. You nearly ready for bed, Emma?
Good morning. Morning. We're in Hull, I think it's pronounced. People have been telling me to go to Hull all my life, and I'm finally here. Anyway, pretty little place. We had a lovely night's sleep last night. Nice and quiet here. And although there are barges going past, because of the lock just there, they go very slowly, so there's no wake or anything really. Just going into town to get some shopping, and then we'll be heading off for the big boat lift today. Quite excited actually, it's cool.
You can see how much the barges have to do to negotiate this area. There are lots of low bridges, and manoeuvring one of those big beasts must not be easy, but they managed to squeeze under, position the vessels correctly to get through all the bridges without touching them.
Okay, we've arrived at the supermarket. Looks okay. Okay, let's get started, shall we? They've got a really nice selection of bread here. I can't pass on the smell. The smell is flipping delicious. And also we've got a little slicing machine there. You just stick your bread in the top and it comes out sliced.
Okay, I've got back from the shopping. Little Missy's wide awake and you're wanting some milkshake, aren't you? So we're going to make a milkshake. So step one, Emma, get the banana, please. Don't fall down while you're doing that. Grab the banana. Right, and then put it in here, but don't just put it in. What I want you to do is lift it up above it and then drop it. Yeah! Now we're going to get the milk. So open the milk for me. Don't spill it, because it smells if you spill milk. Seriously. Okay, pour some milk in there until I say stop. Stop! Should we try that? We can always add some more afterwards. Okay. That's it. I'll hold up the thing. You squash it down. Okay, up and down a little bit. Gently. Keep going. Keep the button pressed and go up and down. That's it. Keep going. Up and down. See if it's ready. Don't spill it. not exactly sure if you'd call this graffiti, and I'm not sure what your thoughts are on graffiti. But yeah, it's nobody can deny the skill of these people who've done this, because they're definitely artists. We're just approaching our first lock of the day. Emma's going to help us with this, aren't you, Emma? Emma's going to make sure this is tight. While me and Mummy pull the other ones, you can pull that one. It's quite a nice day today. Long may that continue. And yeah, everything is all good. Well, those horses are nice, have a nice calming effect, which is good because we just had a stressful lock. It's all my fault. That was quite a tall lock. It must have risen a good 5 meters, 6 maybe. So what happened was we arrived, Rossella was struggling a bit to get to her line at the bow, because again it's my fault, because I could have, if I'd have known, I could have gone further forward for her to get her closer and then come back. So she was doing that. I was faffing about at the stern. I kind of, because it was quite a long reach for me as well to get to the bollard, so I reached over and I threw a bunch of line through the hole to get this stern line on. And then as I was sorting that out, Rossella was struggling to get hers on and asking me to call on the radio to tell them to kind of slow down. So I was on the VHF as well. And then once we'd started to rise, I actually saw that I'd messed up and I'd put the line around the bollard somehow. I don't really know how it happened because, like I say, it was just a whole bunch of line that I pushed through. So then at that point, I knew that the stern was going to come off, and it did, and Rossella's bow line came off more or less at the same time. So then we had no lines on and the lock was rising, so we were moving about a bit. The mast touched gently on the side of the wall, but it was fine, and it's got, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but we had an old horseshoe buoy that was going to go in the bin, so instead of putting it in the bin, I put it on the mast. So that's our little mast fender, which has had a couple of trials so far. Anyway, so it was stressful for everybody. Emma even started crying because of it. Bless you, darling. You don't need to cry. You know the worst that can happen, Emma? The worst that can happen is, like, Daddy makes like a scratch on the boat. Even if we hit really hard the side of a wall, all that will happen is make a scratch on the boat, okay? Or possibly, if I went really hard with the mast, I could bend the mast a little bit and we could bend it back afterwards. That's the only things that can happen. Nothing bad can happen. There's nothing going to happen to the boat that Daddy can't fix in a couple of hours, so don't worry about it. Everything's fine. So we're now looking forward to a bit of peace and quiet before the next lock, and then the next lock we're going to do things very slowly and very intentionally, and I'm going to make sure that my line is on in the correct way, because really once you've got a stern line on, the job is almost done then, because you can actually hold the boat in position and steer it and get the bow to where you want it to go just with a stern line. So I need to pay a lot of attention to what I'm doing at the aft end, and then once that's sorted, then whatever happens at the bow is, like, if we get a line on, it's a bonus, but if we don't, then it's okay as well. So there we are. That's what's happening right now, but it's a very nice peaceful bit of countryside to calm us down, and we're going to relax for a little while, let the adrenaline stop flowing. There are lots of liveaboard barges all along the canals here. Very peaceful life. And with the technology available these days for going off grid, you could be pretty much self-sufficient on them, really. Solar panels, lots and lots of solar panels. Rainwater collection, filtration, of course. It'd be nice to talk to some of these people and hear their stories. Find out a little bit more about who they are, where they've come from, what their plans are. Fascinating, really.
Daddy, we went to Tavolina.
Yes, Dan, of course I can. It is, it's a big one. Well, that was a gigantic lock, but it went really, really well. There was a floating bollard, which made things very easy. We ended up having a bow line and a stern line, both on the floating bollard. And I was holding both of those at the back, and Rossella was pushing us off the steps, making sure the fenders weren't getting caught on the way up. So it went really well. Very helpful lock keeper. Really, really helpful, and that really helped as well, take the pressure off. Hello! Friendly fisherman. It's very pretty around here. We're thinking of finding somewhere to stop for lunch before we do the big boat lift. It's about 3 in the afternoon, so time to get some food. It's okay, isn't it? It helps when the canal walls are like slanted like that, because the waves go on them and kind of roll onto them instead of bouncing off. When the walls are very square, the waves bounce off and you get a lot more kind of reflections. This takes a bit of the energy out of them. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Thank you, Emma. In England, we've got a mnemonic. It's a really weird word. Something that's easy to remember, and it helps you remember something. So we say, Richard of York gave battle in vain. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Yeah, you're always beautiful. I love it.
E mi piace anche di più. E poi non so come. Prima non mi ricordavo.
What? Okay, I'll get rid of it. Okay, I'll get rid of it. I'll get rid of it. Emma's not happy about this spider, so it's going to have to find a new home. There's something for you to see out here, Emma. It's really cool. What's that thing in front of us?
Oh no.
It's the ride. It's the ride with the swimming pools. What do you think? Does it look like good fun? This is absolutely beautiful right now. Gorgeous weather, really peaceful and calm. It kind of makes you want to slow down and take longer for the trip. We have a month available for this trip, and we have no idea how far we're going to get. But you come to places like this on a day like this and you just think, oh, this is perfect. It's so peaceful, relaxing, spending time with the family. It really is beautiful. Very, very privileged and content and happy and grateful. And yeah, soon we will be going on the big boat lift. It feels like going to the fairground, it really does. It's exciting. I feel like we're going to like, you know, Gardaland or something.
Join us in the next video where we go on the most unique ride of our lives. We take Britaly into a 5,000-ton swimming pool, which then gets pulled up a hill with us inside it. We'd like to say a huge thank you to our patrons. It takes between 20 and 30 hours of work to edit a video like this, just to get it online. So we really appreciate your help in allowing us to find the time to keep doing that. If anyone wants to check out our Patreon page, you'll find a link in the description, and you get loads of bonuses from us if you join us there. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.